Oh, hello there. I am RJ Redden, and welcome to the Bot Signal. This is a little bi-weekly show where I talk about Facebook Messenger bots, news, current events, answer questions from the community, and welcome. In case you don't know me, my name's RJ Redden. As I said, I am a messenger bot strategist. I have been working with bots for about 2 years now, coming up on a 2-year anniversary. In that time, I have sent tens of thousands of messages. No kidding. And I love bots. I've been doing nothing but for about 2 years now. I love them. And I just want to share this with the world because I think it's so important and so cool and such an awesome way to engage your audience. So, Teresa says howdy. Howdy on back. Good to see you. And today we're going to answer a question from the community, which is kind of cool. Sometimes folks ask me things and they're, real quick answers, and I do my best to answer those. But this particular question, there were so many ways that I could go with it. I decided to go ahead and make it the topic for today's show. So buckle in. Entrepreneurs hire me to get their message heard, to rocket launch their marketing message, because most are shouting into a black hole, most are a carbon copy of everybody else's message, and a lot of people, most people, fail to get engagement on and offline. So I help launch a powerful digital message that gets people visibility, engagement, and increases profits. Bottom line, you got to get your bot out there so people know about you so that you can work smarter, not harder. So today's little topic we're going to talk about is this. We're going to talk about how do you manage the messages that are coming in. Let me give you a little context. So maybe you are just starting with bots. Maybe it's something where you've kind of got a few people coming in over time. Over time, one can really build kind of a large audience. Now, for me, when I say large audience, I'm not saying tens of thousands of people. We don't collect people in a bot like we collect people on an email list. Why? Because bots are more work. They give you a whole lot more in return, but it's not an apples to apples comparison. Oh, I've got 10,000 on my messenger list and I've got 10,000 on my email list. Yeah, that's nice. But they're both communication, but they really are different subjects. So if you've been getting some people in over time, if you've got a way to get more eyeballs that is regularly bringing people in, you're going to start to have a message management deal, challenge, we'll say. Because people will, obviously you want them to have a conversation with you. You want them to have a great high-touch experience. You want them to think that you are fantastic and Johnny or Jane on the spot with answers to questions. That's what we've been talking about over on this channel forever and a half. And that is exactly what you want. But in the meantime, sometimes you're getting 10 messages a day from folks. And some of them are questions. Some of them are problems that people are having. Had some this morning. Had some where I was, leading people to a page on ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels ain't working today. So I got a couple of people writing in saying, hey, page isn't working. So sometimes it's a problem or an issue that you need to solve. Sometimes it's just a thank you. Sometimes people will just, in response to something, they'll write thank you, or they'll give us a thumbs up, or they'll some other thing that is consequential and you want to answer back to that stuff, but it's not necessarily some long drawn out process. I myself check my live chat a lot, and I check the live chat of all my clients. Little context, live chat is ManyChat's section where you can get on and chat with people live. hence live chat, right? The bot, there's a whole automated there's a whole big automated part of your messaging. But there's also that place where you pick up the conversation. That's the live chat. And that's where a lot of this stuff appears. So what do you do? How do you manage that? How do you still give people a high-touch experience? How do you make them feel seen, heard, and cared about? How do you do that without being chained to your computer? Because that's not the life you want to lead either. So it's kind of a balance, actually, with this particular thing. A little bit of a balance. And so here it is. I wrote myself a little note that has all of my notes on it. And here it is. So the main thing that you want to do on this is, gosh, with the live chat, if you're going to be really effective at answering questions, if you're going to be effective in getting in there and talking to people, it can't be that you talk to people just when the system summons you. Because in ManyChat, when people answer a question or when people want to ask something that's outside the normal run of the bot, the system will not summon you. They won't summon you for that. And so let's just give a real concrete example so folks know what I'm talking about. You've written a bot run that introduces yourself and what you do for a living and all of that kind of stuff, and it delivers a freebie. So in the middle of this bot run where the messages are coming, somebody doesn't know you yet. They might have a question, like, where's your business located, or something like that. They might type that question in the middle of two messages that have absolutely nothing to do with that. You are going to want to come on and answer this question, but the system is not going to summon you. You absolutely have to, and this is what I recommend to all my clients. This is what I recommend to everybody who takes my courses. You want that live chat window open all the time. Now, my clients, I do take care of some of that for them. But if you're doing a bot alone, you want to have that live chat window up. And here's why. Is because people are viewing that messenger experience as a conversation, and you want it to be back and forth as much as you can. Nobody expects you to be, looking at that thing all the time. But really, checking in on it 3 times a day is a really great thing to do, because then you can continue conversations with people. That's what I recommend to everybody. There's also a setting in your live chat that will help this process. If you go to settings, then live chat, this is ManyChat again, and you mark, there's a couple of boxes there on the top of the screen. One of them says that a conversation should be opened explicitly, and one says that a conversation should be opened anytime somebody types in on it something unexpected. You'll want that one. You want that one. Because what that does is anytime somebody types in something that is not part of a regular bot run, you get to see that in open conversations in your live chat. Very important to do. Very important to do, because anytime somebody is actually contacting you, like, let's look at this for a second. How many times over the years has somebody actually written you on your contact page and it's not been spammers? I can't even think of an instance where it's been important to me. But you know what I mean? So like someone actually reaching out to you, someone reaching out to you through your bot, that's stuff that you want to pay attention to, you want to answer. The best thing that you can do is just develop a habit of checking it. Maybe you're one of those people that, you have your email inbox open all the time on the other screen, or maybe you're one of those folks that just sort of checks it a couple of times a day so that it's not constantly sort of staring at you. Build whatever you're doing with the other stuff that you check pretty constantly, build your chatbot into that, because it's going to give you some power. Let's talk about that for a second. The power is that you get to then start to notice some patterns. Patterns like this. What sort of questions are people asking regularly? What sort of things are on their mind as they're reading your chatbot? This, my friends, gives you the power of, once you've noticed that pattern, say everybody is asking, okay, I write this, there's a bot that I've got a client who does a 30-day keto challenge. You're going to meet him one of these days. Does a 30-day keto challenge. And I noticed, in his live chat, day after day after day after day, that first week, people ask for recipes over and over and over and over again. Even though we've given them in the bot, we've given them in the group, they are going to start getting them through email. They still really want to get those recipes, and they want them on demand. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've noticed that they want those on demand. So I just built something where we can offer those on demand. If you type the word recipe or recipes into that bot, it'll pop up a question. Hey, did you want to see the recipes? And if they say yes, it takes them to a little menu where they can choose whatever week they want and see the recipes for that week. I did this because I answered that question so many times that I noticed a pattern, and I thought about how can I help make that an automatic experience for people so they don't have to wait for me to come in and answer that. So that's one example for you. What are they asking for over and over again? What information? And here's another little power tool that you can use over and over and over again is when you notice those questions, go back through your sequence. Try to answer it in the sequence if you can. For instance, when we got a bunch of questions again on the keto challenge, we got a lot of questions from people that were like, they were asking about, when a certain thing was going to happen. So what I did was I went back in the sequence, it's a 30-day sequence. So I went back on the, on the day before, and I put in there, I mentioned the event that people were asking about, and I mentioned when it was going to happen. And then I also put a reminder in on the next day. So now I'm answering questions before they happen. That will cut down on some of the traffic in that live chat box. Absolutely it will. Absolutely it will. It's all about that Disneyland experience that we talk about a lot here. It's all about making people feel like you have thought around every single corner. It makes you look like a rock star even though you're not typing those messages right at that point. This is the heart of what we're trying to do with these bots. This is absolutely the central point of what we're trying to do. We want to look like rock stars to our clients. We want to look like we've thought of everything. We won't always. Sometimes we're goofy and we send out messages with the wrong links in them. I've never done that. I've heard rumors. Anyway, sometimes, we're going to be human beings, and that's okay too. But if you can open that live chat every single day, notice what people are asking. Notice what problems they're having. Notice also what people have trouble understanding. Hey Ed, what font do you use for the text at the bottom of your frame? Edo. E-D-O. Edo. Anyway. So what are they having trouble understanding? So a lot of my bots are bots that train people how to do a certain thing or give people some extra valuable knowledge. And a lot of you are in the same boat. Maybe you're doing a live stream, maybe you're doing a podcast, you're doing something else, and you're giving instructions of how to do a certain thing. If you have built a habit out of checking that live chat, you will see where people are having problems understanding what you've explained. And then again, you can go back a step wherever that is explained in that sequence, and you can say, what are the details that I need to add so that I can help people understand the first time through and not have to come back and ask me a question. Oh, you didn't change the subject, Ed. You're just fine. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me today. So, noticing where people are having problems understanding the thing that you just explained to them, that's huge. That's huge. A lot of my clients make videos. They'll drop videos into their bots for training purposes and things like that. And there are some times when, they go back and shoot an addendum or edit the video or do whatever to help provide that extra bit of explanation to people. Because here it is. Whatever your zone of genius is, I know that you are probably so close to it that you forget what it's like to step into it for the first time. So, your clients, your people that you're trying to teach and explain to them and give them valuable information, most likely there are times that they're stepping into that for the first time. And so when you originally produce that sequence, you might produce it at a level that people that don't understand. So one way to keep that live chat clear, one way to eliminate repeating yourself over and over and over again, explaining something, is to go back, look at that sequence, see what's explained there, add some more details. Also, here's something else that you can notice a lot in your live chat, and if you click around and get statistics on your particular sequences and things like that, is to notice where the drop-off points are. Is to look and see, okay, where are people dropping out? Is there too much text? Is there too much, what is there too much of? One of my very first bot runs was I had people clicking on a link, this link I had shared in my social media and everything else. People were clicking on a link and then they were coming into a bot run. And I was asking them 9 questions. 9's a lot, everybody. It's too much, really. But I didn't know it at the time because I was just first writing bots. So I asked them 9 questions. And, it was one of those things that I set it up and then I went, okay, I'll check it in a bit and I'll see what's happening. Well, probably about 5-6 days after I had set that up, I had somebody click through on one of my social media profiles or whatever. They clicked through and they went, they got to about the 4th question and then they typed, sorry, I just need more value sooner. And at first I was like a little offended. I'm like, hey, I'm giving you value, whatever. But then I looked at that experience again and I reevaluated what I was doing there. What I ended up doing was, because, when I reevaluated, I looked at the stats and I looked at where the drop-offs were and I realized that nobody's getting through 9 here. Nobody's getting through 9 questions, especially on the first date. What that sounds like, and I always imagine my bots as being a first date. Funny, I hate dating, and I got out of it as soon as I could, but I still imagine it as the first time you're meeting somebody. If you met somebody and they walked up to you and they asked you 9 questions in a row, what would you think about that? Would you think that was odd? You probably would. You'd probably maybe be a little bit off-put by that. So what I ended up doing was looking at the run, looking at where people were dropping off, and then I just kind of took it back a little bit, and I went, I'm going to ask 3 real important questions. And I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to mix that up with a little GIF here, little video here, little spice and variety. And I'm going to take those other 6 questions that I was asking, and I'm going to sprinkle them later throughout the bot. I don't need them to be all at once. They were all important questions, you see, but having them all in that same place created one heck of a drop-off and somebody directly saying to me in my bot, yeah, I just need more value sooner, thanks. So it's very important. It's very important. If you want to Learn how to manage all of those messages that are coming in a way that makes sure people feel loved and taken care of. And I assume that's what you want because you are here. Then creating that habit of looking at the live chat every day. Don't care whether you keep it up or pop it up at noon and 5 every day. Don't care what you do, as long as it's a habit, then that's good. Looking at that, discovering the patterns. Where are the holes in what you're teaching? One of the things that I learned a long time ago, and this is the funniest thing, it's RJ's story time. I hope you're comfortable, kids. It happened in a class. It happened in a journalism class. And the teacher was teaching about how do you write a proper news article. Well, you put the most important thing in the headline. And then you know, the second most important thing, third most, it's like a little pyramid, right? Most importance here, least importance here, because of the way people read newspapers. And so he gave the whole class a sheet. He passed out these sheets of paper that had all the facts on them. And it was, kind of a list of names, and that these people were all going to be at this teacher in service on this certain date. And so what most of the class ended up doing was writing a news article that had the principal's name in it, and where this in service was going to be and what it was going to be about and the list of people that were going to be there. And then the teacher asks for the papers, right? And then he says, what's the most important thing? What should the headline be? What's the most important thing? And people said, well, the principal's going to be out next Friday. He said, no, the most important thing is there is no school next Friday. Because no teachers are going to be here. What he was doing was he was testing folks. It's, a little pre-test, a little bit of, okay, what are you taking out of this? Are you able to maybe put these facts together and think beyond the box? He was trying to, tell the students, basically the lesson is, better read into what is these facts that are being given to you, because maybe there's a bigger story here. That's what he was trying to teach. But he wanted to see what the holes in their knowledge was first. So as people go through your bot, especially if you're writing a training bot, and I know some of you are out there, as people go through your bot, there's just going to be some places where you've made some assumptions that they know what's up next. And they don't. And they will tell you, hey, I didn't expect that. Hey, where's this thing over here? Hey, when's that thing happening? I was told, I think a couple of months ago, somebody wrote in and said, hey, why don't you put in your show announcements when exactly your show is? And I thought to myself, well, that's ridiculous. Everyone knows when the show is. It's 1 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday. It's always been that way. Some of you are just getting to know me for the first time. And I fail to remember that fact. So now I always put it in there. If I'm doing a little video preview, if I'm doing a text one, I put the time in there. And that works for me. So if you listen to your people, if you are paying attention to what they're saying, what their questions are, what their problems are, where are the holes in their understanding, you will then be able to create this. It gives you the power of, wait for it, the keyword strategy. Yes, the keyword strategy. What I mean is this. You can teach your bot to recognize a certain keyword when people type it in. And then you can make it so that the bot then, not you, the bot pops up and says, hey, did you mean to talk about this? I'll give you a real life example because that will make more sense than me just talking theoretically. Dan, I'm going to use you as an example if you're watching. We all love Dan. Dan sells chocolate, everybody. And it's really good. So go check out Dan's chocolate. So people on his site often, I imagine, are asking him about shipping. Because Dan's over in the UK, a lot of his customers, you got people over here. How much is it going to cost and how long is it going to take for the shipping? And so Dan can set up his bot to recognize the word shipping and then say, hey, Here's all of the, frequently answered questions about shipping. Did you want to know how long it takes? He can set up the bot to ask people a series of questions then. Hey, where are you from? Hey, he could ask them all kinds of things that will help the bot determine a shipping price and time for them. He doesn't have to be there for that. He can set it up one time and make it work. Very good. So that's one instance where somebody types in the word, they say, hey, how much is this going to cost for shipping? And then it kicks off a series of messages that determine exactly what this thing is that this person needs and how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost. This is huge. It takes a little time sometimes to work these things up. That's okay, because it's going to save you so much time on the backside, and it makes you look like a rock star. It makes you look like you are right on the spot with information that they need right when they need it. We are done, hopefully. We are becoming done with the information that is fire hosed at you every time you turn a corner. That's what our marketing is like right now. We're just going to give you so much information. We're going to just fill your brain with all this information. If you care to look our way, then that's like engaging a puppy who is very needy. They're just on you now. And it's like that with a lot of our advertising and our marketing. It's just, we're going to overload you with information until some people trickle back to us. We're going to stand on the street with a bullhorn and just scream until we get 5 people back to us. It's not a good way to do things anymore, because everybody on earth has figured out how to do that. And now we've all got blinders on. We've all got, just those automatic blinders, those automatic earplugs that we don't, it's self-defense, really. One way to break through that noise is to be able to give people the exact information they've asked for, something that is valuable to them at the time that they've asked for it. You can set this up with keywords in your bot. Adam. Oh, Adam! It's been years! So happy I got you. Hey, I'm so happy you're here. Dude, we need to chat. We just need to chat. It's been months, my darling. Anyway, with our marketing, we've done this, and that's okay. It's the way we've been taught, right? It's just the way that we've been taught. But when you set up a keyword of information, when you set up the word recipes, like I was talking about for that bot, when people type in the word recipes, they get asked, hey, did you want to see the recipes? You do have to kind of make sure that, people meant to type the right thing and didn't fat finger something, or autocorrect. That's also, a thing. Fantastic. You want to make sure that they actually want, that thing that's going on. So I always say, hey, did you want to see the recipes? They say yes, and boom, a menu. Week 1 recipes, week 2, week 3, week 4. They can choose any one of those and then go to the recipes and then go to something that I've built for them where they can see each recipe. They can go back to ones that they like. Anything that they want to do, they can do. That's the secret of the choose your own adventure. That is also the secret of being able to serve people in the very best way that you know how. And again, what I did was, all I did was watch the live chat for patterns, where people are getting stuck, where people don't know exactly what it is I'm talking about, where people are, going for information. These are the things that I saw over and over. Anything that you see over and over, make it a keyword. Just make it a keyword. And it's okay. You'll answer 90% of the questions that way. You'll be able to make it so that when people are typing into the bot, that triggers something automatically. People don't have to wait for you. You don't have to come in and answer that thing. The questions that are very important are still going to make it through. Anything you don't have a keyword set up for, it's still going to come through. You're fine. You'll get it. It's great. But you'll be able to take those things that are repetitive and automate that. And that's what we love about bots. We can have a virtual coffee chat and catch up. Indeed, we must. Indeed, my darling. Yes, it's just been too long. For those of you who don't know Adam, Adam is like the nicest tech guy in the whole world and is so very knowledgeable. And I love talking to him about stuff. So go see Adam. If you don't know him, get to know him. He's awesome stuff. He's awesome sauce, if you will. And I know you would. So that is, build that keyword strategy. Here's another thing you can do to cut down the number of things that are happening in that live chat and to get somebody just a real, very quick response without you having to be there. And this is funny. Set up as a keyword in your bot, question mark. Not the words question mark, the symbol question mark. Make it so that whenever anybody types a question mark, and they generally will at the end of a question, not always, but generally, it trips off a little trigger that says, hey, I see you had a question there. I've alerted RJ in the background. She'll show up as soon as she can. Did you have any further questions for her? You can set just a punctuation mark to set up a chain of events. You can do that. And that really helps people, again, feel served and feel like you're paying attention and you love them and you care. And that's what you want. I mean, if you're me, that's what you want. I'm not trying to sell 80,000 t-shirts. I'm looking for clients and students. That's what I'm looking for. And I want both my clients and my students to feel cared about. And like I care about giving them an answer in an appropriate amount of time, sooner if I possibly can. So those are the things that you can do. Watch that live chat, make it a habit. First thing, make it a habit. I suggest it to every single person that is my client. I suggest it to every single person who's in my class. Got to make that a habit. Great tip. Set up punctuation marks to trigger a conversation. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can also set it up so that when people say thank you, you can come back with you're so welcome and a couple of emojis. You can do that. I want to get to those thank yous immediately. I absolutely do, because it's just one of those really nice things that when people do it, I want to respond right away. And I don't always have time because sometimes I'm, running around doing my thing. So watch that live chat. Habit. Create a habit. Notice the patterns. Notice where the holes in people's information are. Notice the problems that they're having. Notice those questions. And then create that keyword strategy that will help people get an answer right away. Help them as much as you can. I'll tell you what, those keyword strategies save me hours and hours of time because I don't have to answer the same stuff all the time. And I know, because when I set up a keyword strategy that refers to a certain word, right? Let's take the recipe one, for example. People type in recipes on this certain bot, they get asked which week they want, they choose which week. Now, if I'm continuing to watch that live chat, then I can check the statistics and see if there's any drop off in there. I want to see if that keyword I set up works and everybody's getting what they need. Now that's a real simple one, the recipe one that I set up. But there are other questions that people have, and sometimes those runs are a little bit more complicated. I continue to watch those keywords. I'm continuing to make sure that everybody's getting their questions answers as much as possible within the bot. That will help. That'll help you handle live chat. Those tips will help you handle live chat anytime, any day. Some of you aren't at that point, and I get it. I understand. There's a lot going on in people's lives. Sometimes people get real excited about bots, and maybe they, kind of pause there, or maybe they start building and then realize all the bells and whistles and, stuff happens. I get it. That is totally okay. Maybe you're not at that point, and that's okay. What I want you to know is this, that bots are a powerful strategy for conversation marketing. Content marketing we've been doing for years, haven't we? We're going to produce a live stream like this one. We're going to make a podcast. We're going to do a blog. We're going to reach out to people. We're going to get visible. We're going to do that thing. Unfortunately, my friend, everybody's had that strategy for so long that there's a content crush out there. And people are putting on mental blinders every day. They don't want to be advertised to. They don't want content every single minute of the day. You know what? Our brains weren't meant for that. So it's time to switch to that conversation strategy. Time for whenever anybody says this in your bot, let's offer them some information along this pathway. Let's not fire hose them when they get in the door. Let's give them the right information, valuable stuff, right when they ask for it, and only that information. It's a powerful strategy, my friends, and I'd love to see you employ it. And that is why I'm the bot queen. Why, thank you. If strategy is what you need, hey, type live. Just do this thing. That will take you to my bot, which will it will give you. It'll ask you a couple questions, and then it'll take you through. It'll spit out a bot strategy for you. One thing I know about people that go to build bots immediately is that, boy, there's so much to know, and there's so many bells and whistles and all of these types of things. People lose their focus, they forget what they wanted to do, and then they end up building something, if they build something at all, that is not necessarily congruent with that first vision of this is what I really want from a bot. You avoid that problem. Take advantage of the thousands and tens of thousands of messages that I've sent. Type in live and let me help you find a strategy. And then get on the phone with me and let me help you customize that strategy to whatever it is you're doing right now. Teresa says, that's what I'm suffering from. Content blinders. Gotta figure something else out. Don't we all, my friend? Don't we all? So glad to have you here, you guys. So glad to have all of you here. This is a lot of fun, this show. And this show was especially fun because it arose from a question that somebody had in my community today. If you're not in the Black Belt Bots community, why not? Baby is free. You get to hang out in there and be goofy because we're a goofy bunch and proud of it. Hang out there, ask some questions sometimes, get to see some of the fun experiments that I do. Come join us. It's a bunch of bot builders just like yourself in any stage. Sometimes people are just starting out with thinking about it. Sometimes people are already building like Dan. And you can ask questions that end up as show topics. You can also just submit me a show topic. Teresa did earlier today. I'll be covering that one very soon. And don't be shy. Don't be shy. Tell me what you want to hear, because without you, this show doesn't exist. And I want it to serve you as much as it possibly can. Adam says, building a bot, you can get very creative, but also stick to a general path without many squirrels. That's what you have to do at first. At first. Because there's so much that's going on that's different that you must stick to, okay, here's my strategy. Here's exactly what I want to do. Here's what I want to make happen. And then put that out there and test it. Not build the entire thing and all of the branches and all of the sequences. Because if you don't know how it works yet, if you don't know how to check your live chat, check your stats, if you don't know how to adjust with it, then you're going to end up building a lot of paths that nobody's going to go down. And you don't want that. And I don't want that for you. So good comment, Adam. Being goofy is the best. Affirmative. So very good, darlings. Thanks for joining me today. I'll be back next Tuesday and Thursday. I'm going to talk about bots. If you have a topic you want me to do, and just do that. Type it to me. Type it to me in the group. Type it to me in a private message. Type it to me in my bot. I don't care. And if you want to go ahead and take advantage of some of these bot strategies, do it. Because having a focus when you get in there means that you'll have a bot a lot sooner than if you get in there and try to figure out everything that you could do, because believe me, it's a lot. Anyway, so happy to have you here again. And again, RJ Redden signing off. I will see you all in a bite.